Well, the alternative media is at it again. I saw this headline. I don't want to make light of it, but it says Israel is closing its embassies throughout the world. I don't know if all of them or whatever, due to a strike by embassy workers. There's some kind of strike going on, issue with salary, and actually, some of the paid sources will say closes embassies, throughout the world, which doesn't mean they're closing every single embassy, But then there's other people picking up this story, and it's only in the alternative media, completely. Nowhere else did I see one story. It seems like it's on Russia Today, which I consider them part of the alternative media. But it says that, and then there's people taking that, say for instance there is some closures of embassies due to strikes. I don't even know if this is valid because it's the only place I'm seeing it is in the alternative media. But then people are saying, well, they're up to something. Yeah, maybe somebody's up to something, trying to get more money. Maybe that was the reason. There's a strike. So, this alternative media sure it almost goes into rumorville to the max, where they're saying that, this is time now. Israel's going to get rid of all of its enemies. This is like a whole big ploy. And it tells you something how suspicious people are. Automatically. Now, I'd be kind of wondering, maybe they're going to recount the vote in Crimea and find out 95% don't want to go with Putin in Russia. Because, it seems to be a big conspiracy in the United States with votes. Could you imagine in the United States we had a vote that was 95% for one candidate? That would make you think something went on there wrong. Nobody's that popular. I don't care if we never had an election that was that popular. But when it goes on with Russia Today and the Crimea, everybody believes it. Yes, it must be true. But there you go with the alternative media again. It's like, I'm laughing at this. I hope nothing happens, because there's a million people already ready to pounce all over Israel for something that could possibly happen. I don't have no idea. It could be that there's some, I don't even know if it's all embassies, but it may be some embassies, and I'm not even sure if this is a fact. Because the only place I see it is in alternative media and Russia Today and things like that. I don't see it anywhere else stated that Israel's has closed embassies due to a strike. But, it already got rumor milled around to Israel closed all its embassies throughout the world. That's the rumor. And there's the strike is just a cover. And that they're up to something, and something's going to happen real big, real soon. I don't know. Tell me, man. So, it could. I don't know. I'm not going to rule that out completely, but I do have to say the alternative media is about some of the most unreliable sources going. It's not just the major media. It's the alternative media, too. And, maybe Israel is going to do something. I don't know. Who the hell knows? It seems to be, though, the focus is always on them. They're up to something. So there is a bias against Jews. I have to say that. That's going to be a very unpopular statement on the internet, but there is a bias against Jews. There is. There's no doubt about it. And, I could say, I read a lot about World War II history and things like that. I could say something that may be unpopular in Jewish circles, that for the most part, most of the German soldiers that were in World War II were honorable soldiers. It was actually the political party that was corrupt, and that's in the elite regime. But if you look at survival rates of American POWs during the time of World War II, there was a 99% survival rate. Even pilots, or not pilots, but say people that were in B-17s that were bombing the shit out of German cities, they would parachute out and, they'd be injured. The Germans would give them, instead of beating them with clubs, because they bombed the heck out of the city, they realized, this is the worst, the way it's going, and they would give them medical attention, and they survived the war. So, I don't like faulting like an entire, I would disagree with maybe some, I don't even know what the hell people think. Everybody's got their own opinion. Nobody thinks as a mass, like, oh, everybody thinks the same way. But I think there would be some Jewish people annoyed at me for saying something like that. So I will be politically incorrect and annoy people sometimes. But I think it's my honest opinion that Jews are getting set up left and right, blamed for every damn thing there is, and every ill in the world is due to them. That's the new popular wave of sentiment that's out there. And if this is a strike right now, it just may be a strike that's going on to get more wages for some embassy personnel. That's probably what it is. I mean, first off, if there was some kind of plan to do something, I don't know why they'd have to close all the embassies in the world. Why would they have to do that? Really? Why would they have to do that anyway? Why would they have to do that? If this rumor is correct and there's some kind of strike going on, that's probably what it is. It's a strike. But, the internet mill went out there to the max with, they're up to something. There's something no good. And they're going to do something. They're going to attack their enemies. They're going to get rid of all the bad guys that they're enemies. They're going to do this and that. I don't know. I personally think they're going to recount the vote in Crimea. And we're going to find out that Putin cheated. It's actually 95% of the people don't want to go with Putin. And 100% of the people were scared of the tanks. And all the unmarked troops out there. And so, that's what I really think happened. So what's going on is they're probably going to recount the vote. And, maybe that's why they're closing all the embassies, because Russia's going to be mad. And they're going to try to do something back, when they figure out, they were playing games to vote, right? So you never know. And, I have to say this, to ad-libbing on this a little bit. But when, I had to think about this for a minute because, Vladimir Putin sent the troops out there and, guarded the situation in the Crimea to his advantage, What does it take to tell the truth? Talk about a dictator. It's like, you guys go there right now. And, if you're even like the president, say you don't even have that power. Nobody does. But even to tell the military, take all your insignia off, take all the markings off the trucks, take everything off, everything right now. That's telling us, everybody in the world, that guy has absolute, total authoritative control over the military. And if that doesn't remind you of some of the worst things in the world, I don't know what should, So I just hope people start focusing their attention on who the real enemy is. And I'm telling you, people are gonna get mad at me for saying this, but Israel is not the enemy. I'm looking at this alternative media, and they're already coming up with all these conclusions that assuming this is a fact, that these embassies are closed or whatever due to a strike, that Israel's up to something. They're going to do something. I don't even know why that would even be the case. I don't even know why that would be the case. But it's total hands-off policy when you're talking about Vladimir Putin. I'm like, man, oh man. I don't know about this alternative media. I think a lot of it's being led by the nose by Russia Today, which is the voice of the Kremlin. And therein lies the problem. Nobody's really thinking for themselves. I just looked at that and I said, here's a couple things. I says, first off, even if Israel did have this thing where there was a strike going on, and say, for instance, they were up to something, say they were going to do something. Why would they close all the bases, all the embassies in the world? Why would they do that? Why? Why? Why close all of them? What the hell would that have to do with anything? And if you're going to do something, and you did that, wouldn't that make you look bad? You know? I mean, wouldn't that make you look bad if you did that? That's why I think this whole thing's a stupid rumor. But you know, and the other thing I had to think of was about Vladimir Putin. He's got real, absolute, 100% authoritarian control over the Russian military. He can order somebody to go somewhere on a like that, and tell them you're going to go without insignia. You're not going to do. You're going to do this. You're going to go that. You're going to do this. You're not all the trucks and tanks are not going to show any Russian markings. That's some serious authoritarian power. And if that don't wake you up to what's going on, I don't know what will. Because I know a lot of people maybe they're numb to hearing about Adolf Hitler, but maybe they should also listen to like what happened with Stalin and Mao Zedong. Stalin had that kind of power, and he talked about genocides. There's a lot of genocides that occurred in the world. I know not just with Jews, but a lot of different people. And I want to state this: Vladimir Putin is not a real Christian. It's just an act he puts on in front of the masses to basically solidify his power. That's what he is. That's all he is. So I hope the alternative media wakes up a little bit about some of this garbage, I'm not going to be too critical of Jews on purpose. I'm going to tell you this right now, because I think they're getting scapegoated for a lot of stuff. It's like I was more critical when they were walking on water, some years ago, and I was more critical. But right now, I see there's a lot of unfair treatment going on, in my opinion. So I'm not going to be critical of them. That's what it is. I think they're being treated unfairly. So I don't really kiss anybody's ass at all, period. That might be very unpopular every which way there is. But that's just how it is. That's just how it is. So beware of this stupid alternative media, because I think they're being fed most of their garbage from Russia Today, which is an arm of the Kremlin. And it's highly inaccurate. Or if they take one fact, they run with the ball and they make all these erroneous conclusions from it, which is beyond belief. They're ridiculous. They're ridiculous. In essence, the alternative media has pretty much been taken over by the Kremlin. It's just anti-USA media. It's not looking for the truth. They're only looking for dirt on the USA. That's what the alternative media is doing. So, just like, they're only looking for dirt on Israel, too. That's another thing. It's like, Iran is just a saint, with the alternative media. It's ridiculous. Assad is a good guy with the alternative media. No. I would accept a little bit of criticism. Well, I would accept valid criticism of Israel on a lot more fronts if the rest of the alternative media started bringing out what goes on in Russia, their policies, and the policies of Assad, and the policies of what's going on in Iran. And also a lot of things that even the Palestinians claim that are false. There's a lot of games going on from all different sides. So, a real truther isn't just a puppet of Russia Today's, Putin. A real truther gives you the facts. He will put out the facts. And I personally, I don't want to put anything out against Israel, period. I don't. Because I think they're being unfairly treated. That's what it is. Nobody's a saint. Nobody does everything 100% right. They're being unfairly treated. That's how I see it. And that's one reason I'm not putting shit out against them, period. I just give you a heads up on it. That's my rationale. Not that, somebody's paying me or some shit not to do it. If somebody was paying me not to put something out, I would probably buck that. I don't like being told what to do. So I'm doing it totally of my own free will. That's why, if I don't get paid to, you know, whitewash anything or anything like that. Not that, there should be any, anything like that's going on. Nothing like that is going on. But if somebody was to try to tell me to go whitewash something that Israel did wrong, that would piss me off. So I just see it as I think they're getting an unfair shake. That's really what it is, man. I'm telling you straight up. So, I'm not going to criticize them at all, period. Until stupid alternative media starts waking up to what's going on in the overall picture in the world and isn't just an arm of Russia Today and parrots all their bullshit coming from the Kremlin. So, and when that happens, well, we already know what the criticisms of Israel are. They freaking hear them every day, non-stop out of the alternative media. They're ridiculous. They're ridiculous. They disgust me, man. They're ridiculous, So, I'm not a freaking Mario Cuomo or some bullshit or Joe Biden. Not at all. So actually, I should actually behoove anybody who was ever even thought about trying to make me say something in favor of Israel. You're not going to do that. Because I'm doing it of my own free will. Period. Actually, that would have an opposite effect. Somebody freaking try to tell me I better freaking say something good for Israel or else. Man, that would piss me the hell off. I wouldn't do it. So that's how freaking honest I am. But I'm telling you straight up, I think they're getting a very, very unfair shake. So that's about as honest as I could be, man. But I am noted for freaking... I don't play it like direct frontal assault, but if I see something screwed up, I don't play their game. I got my other ways of doing shit.